reactions, and what have you. All right, so our first activity for today is use an adjective to describe yourself. So I'm going to start. So for the next 5 minutes, we want to use an adjective to describe ourselves. I think that would give me an opportunity to get to know people better. So if your name starts with A, maybe Agnes, you use an adjective that starts with A. So I'm saying something like attractive Agnes. If your name starts with B, just like myself, I could say bold Bossede. So I want you to go into the chat and use an adjective to describe yourself. I'll be counting. I want to see responses in the chat. I want to be seeing okay. I think I should be able to see it. Okay. Okay, so I'm seeing amazing Amaka, adorable Amaka, only you, that's amazing. I'm seeing energetic Emmanuel, optimistic Oluwakemi, creative and calm Chidi Ebere. Is that all? We still have more coming in. Intuitive Israel. Wow, that's amazing. Flexible Francis. Okay. Francis, how flexible are you on a scale of 100? You said? Okay. I'm still waiting to see more reaction. 80. All right. That's good. Okay. I'm still waiting to see more reactions. I'm still waiting to see more reaction. Attentive Amaka. That's amazing. So you're attentive, you're adorable, you're attractive, you're angelic. Awesome. Also, we can still keep going in the chat and dropping those, adjectives to qualify ourselves. So over the next one, thereabouts, I'm going to be talking about an important topic. Merciful mercy. Thank you. That, each and every one of us have, in one way or the other, would, encounter. Conflict is, it's something that happens every now and then. If you are in Lagos and you take buses a lot, almost every day, you see that they fight in the bus conductor, have, issues, disagreements. I'm just using examples that are very relatable. Now to now talk of, in the workplace, and even before you get to the workplace, you have issues as regarding, even in church, in mosque, right? In places of worship, we have conflict. Not to now talk of in business, in the workplace. And so, there are different types of conflicts. There are reasons why conflicts happen. And all this are what we're going to be learning today. And so I want you to be attentive, bring out your notepad and biro, and please, let's just have a fun class together. And I'm going to be asking questions. Seems that I know a lot of people, Flexible Francis, adorable, angelic, Amaka, and the name, observant, Oluwakemi, courteous, Chidi Ebere. So at any time, I might be calling your names. All right, so let's move to the next slide. So this is just me, meet our facilitator. I've explained who I am to you. So we'll move. Now, like I said, this class is going to be engaging and, very, very interesting. Expectations. What would you like to take from today? So I want you to go into the chat. What would you like to take from today? What would you like to learn? Is there something you want to learn? Is there something you want to learn? Is there something you want to relearn as we, as we take this class? What is that one thing that you think you want to learn? What is your expectation from today's class? What is your expectation from today's class? I'm waiting to see the chat buzzing again. I'm waiting to see the chat, but I hope you all can see my screen.
Yes, we can see your screen.
All right, so thank you. So what would you like to take from today? What would you like to take from today? I'm still waiting. I would use this topic to upgrade my skill set and also be able to respond to conflict in any given situation. That is awesome. That is from Emmanuel. Oluwakemi, to understand how to manage or resolve conflicts in the workplace. That's Oluwakemi, thank you. Matthew, I want to learn how to resolve and manage conflicts in workplace and their daily life. Thank you so much, Matthew. I'm waiting for Amaka to send in a response. I'm waiting for Francis. I'm waiting for Mercy. I'm waiting for Chidi Ebere. Okay, so I'm waiting for you guys to. Okay, so I think all your expectations are well noted. And I'm hoping that to increase objectivity, thank you. And I'm hoping that by the end of today's class, we're able to learn one or two things that we can, that can filter back into our business or in our workplace. All right, let's move on. So outline of the topic, what is conflict? And so these are the things we're going to be looking at today. And the first thing is, what is conflict? Why does conflict arise? Types of conflict, effects of conflict, strategies for managing conflict in the workplace. So these are some of the the themes we're going to be looking at under this topic. What is conflict to us? Why do you think conflict arise? Maybe it's something you've not thought about before, and you're just thinking, does conflict just come as different types of conflict? All right. So I move on. All right. So open reflection. This question is for everybody. If you had to define conflict, how would you define it? If you had to define conflict, how would you define it? If you had to define conflict, how would you define it? Like I said, this class is going to be very interactive. It's going to be very, very interactive. Okay, thank you, Amaka. She said disagreement. I'm expecting more reactions. How would you define conflict? If somebody just asks you, the state of not being in one accord. Thank you so much, Matthew. Here, there is no right or wrong answers. Whatever jumps at you, just share in the chat. If you're given an opportunity to define it, simply say wahala. I like that. Simply say wahala for fun. A small issue that turned into something big. I would define conflict as a clash of interest. Oh, awesome. Honestly, this class you guys are already amazing. Short, I feel like maybe I should just call one of you, like, would you like to take the class? Okay, so thank you so much. All your suggestions, all your answers to how you would like to define it, or make a lot of sense. And because of our time, let's just move ahead. All right, so this is conflict. What is conflict? A friction between individuals due to difference in opinions, ideas, beliefs, values, needs, and objectives. I'm just going to be breaking it down. Somebody wrote in the chat, clash of interest. Of course. Somebody said disagreement. What do we disagree on? Oh, because maybe we have different opinions. Or maybe I'm supporting Chelsea and you're supporting Arsenal. And then we meet at the viewing center. And then because our team are playing, we started disagreeing, we started arguing. And before you know it, it turns into a conflict. All right? Maybe in the workplace, you're in the same department, and then you're expected to meet a particular expectation, and then your team member is not going to, is giving you a lot of stress in achieving that goal, and then there's, clash of interest, and then there is conflict. Or maybe you sell, or maybe you provide services for people. In the process of providing services, your customers are giving you problem, and then there is clash of interest, or there is clash of values, or your customer is saying, no, this is not what. So especially, so let's break it down to tailors, right? Fashion designers. I came to you to say, okay, I like this tie. Design it for me, sew it for me. I'm coming back in 2 weeks. And then I get to your office in 2 weeks and I realize you've not even started making my clothes. And then there is clash of, values. And then I'm, raising my voice, and then you're doing this. And then there's this conflict. At the end of the day, I left angrily, and you said, give her clothes. I'm not even sewing again after I've paid you. Those are different types, different conflicts that we see in the workplace and business, right? This is a friction between individuals. It can be 1 to 2%, it can be 2 to 3%, it can be 5 to 10, 15, and over like that. Like that friction. It could be a friction between government and the people, like we'll see during the elections, right? So conflict is part of our everyday life. I think that's the best way to put it. It's part of our everyday life. Whether you like it or not, you have someone that you don't have the same belief system. You have someone that you have different opinions, different ideas. And I think that is one of the things that make this so interesting. Imagine you have the same ideas with everybody. There's nothing to challenge you. I hope you all are following me. Someone's mic is on. Someone's mic is on. So I hope you're getting me. Please, if you're getting me, just do a thumbs up in the chat. So, this is what conflict is about. And I think from all the, the definition in the chat, you all are, you really understand what conflict is. All right. So why does conflict arise? We've talked about what conflict is. Why do people even, have to have issues, have to have conflict, friction? Why do people have different opinions? Why does Taye have to have different opinions from Kende? Why does Bose have to have different opinions from Sylvia? Why does Matthew have to have different opinions from Francis? Because it's from this that conflict arises. Now, see, no two people are alike. Even twins, they are not alike. No two people on earth are alike. No two people are alike. We are all different. Even children born from the same parents, even twins that came from the same womb, the same day, the same time, maybe a few time difference. No two people are alike. So when you understand that, no two people are alike, that to begin to set you right when it comes to conflict resolution. When it comes to conflict resolution, okay, you know that no two people are alike. People see things differently. People see things different. The way Amaka will see things will be different from the way Bosede will see things. It will be different from how Jemima will see things. It's just the same way you will. Okay, so let me give you an example. So there are these 5 blind men, and then there was this giant, this big elephant. Then they told the blind men to touch the different parts of the elephant, but they never told them that it's an elephant. Just touch the different parts and tell us what you feel, and let us know. The first person touched the body of the elephant and said, oh, this is a giant wall. I'm touching a wall. The second person said, oh, I'm touching a bird. Touch the hair of the elephant. I'm touching a bird because the flap, a big bird. One touched the trunk of the elephant and said, I'm touching a snake. I'm touching a snake. Another touch the foot of the elephant. And he said, oh, I'm touching a lion or a donkey that the leg is so thick. I think it's a camel also. It's to tell you that people see things differently. But for people that can see, you know that that thing is an elephant. But for them, because they are touching different parts of it, it's the same way you will see 6 and another person will see 9. But they are written the same way, right? You will see 6, somebody else will see 9. And then you'll be like, no, I'm the one that is correct. It is 6. Another person is telling you, it is 9 that I'm seeing. I'm also correct. But you can never, no, but none of them is wrong. Because the truth is, people see things differently. People see what things differently.
Baba Mumbo, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Please, your mic is on mute, so I can hear everything you're saying. Okay. There is also competition for limited resources. There is competition for limited resources. See, some weeks ago, and it's even still happening now, when there were no cash, there was cash scarcity in Nigeria. See what POS people turned to the extent that you want to collect 5,000 naira, you have to part away with 1,000 naira. And then you are asking yourself, what is this? Do you understand? Like my own money, I want to collect my money, then I have to pay another money to be able to collect my money. What is this? You know, there was so competition for limited resources. You see people queuing up in banks. They just want to get money. You see people fighting, you know. Some people were unable to even go to work because there was, you know, scarcity of cash. So these are some of the things that makes, you know, why conflict arise. These are some of the things. But also there are other things, and I want you to go into the chat and tell me what are the other things that jump at you that you think that makes, you know, cause for conflict. So I'm going to check the chat now and be expecting you guys to respond. What are some of the things, aside these few things that I've mentioned there? Aside these few things that I mentioned there, what are some of the things that you know that what are some of the things that you know that causes conflict? Perceived oppression. Wow, that is amazing. Perceived oppression, and it's true. It's true when you think that you are being oppressed. Or sometimes you assume that you are being oppressed, you know, things like that. So, any other one? Malice. Even the malice, it was conflict that caused the malice. It was conflict that caused the malice. Any other thing? Envy. Yes. Envy. Thank you so much, Mercy, Emmanuel, and Matthew. Envy. You know, when you just like, what does he have? Is he the only one doing the business? Is he the only one in the office? And then there's no conflict like that. You know, disagreement, inequality, difference between neighbors. Thank you so much. All these are wonderful suggestions and contributions. Okay, so let me move to the next slide, right? Difference in interest. Thank you. Okay. So we are looking at effect of conflict. Effect of conflict. So as much as, you know, disagreement, friction is not good, there is a positive side to it, and there is a negative side to it. When you don't make use of the conflict, is when it's now tuning into the negative side. But when you make use of it, you know why this conflict is necessary for us to make some serious changes. Then it's positive. And that is what we are going to go next. What are, you know, the effects of conflict, which is positive and negative? What are the negative side? What are the positive side? How can we begin to leverage this for our business or in our workplace? I hope you guys are following me. All right, you can see the smile, the positive side. The need to search for new facts and solutions, right? Maybe there's a conflict in your place of work. Okay, and then maybe in your team, you were expected to carry out a particular project, but then your team members, there are conflicts. You guys have conflicting interests. It's a best time, it's a good time to sit down and say, okay, you know what? I hear you, team A, I hear you, team B. Let's research and come to a common ground. Can you see the positive effect of conflict? Although there were conflicts, oh no, I'm seeing 6, oh, I'm seeing 9. And then at the end of the day, you guys come together, let's search. Okay, come to this other side of us. What are you saying? Oh, it's true, it was 6 that was there. Then we move to this other side. Oh, it's true, it was 9. Oh no, now we understand. Now, the need to search for new facts and solutions. And then, intertwining your projects, and then you realize, no, they were actually right. And we too, we were right. So we were both right, but we are seeing things differently. Another thing, it improves group work. So you know that this person is not happy with this particular project, or the mannerism at which this particular project was carried out. Then because you were able to, come to a common ground, and then it improves group work, it improves collaboration, it improves teamwork. Those are the positive, just to briefly just talk on it, because I want you guys to understand that there are positive side to a conflict and there are negative side to a conflict. Okay, and then if you have any other thing as we're learning this, we are all learning. If there are other positive effects that is coming to your mind, please put it in the chat. What are the other positive effects? Maybe that you as a person have experienced in your workplace or in your business or in your day-to-day life, and then you would like to share. Please put it in the chat. Like I said, it's going to be a very interactive class, and every one of this and opportunity. As I'm speaking and teaching, I'm also learning. Okay, now we move to the negative effect of conflict. What are the negative effects? It reduces productivity. This person is fighting, this team is fighting with this team. Team A is fighting with team B. Team Z is fighting with team D. And then there is just, it reduces productivity. Everybody focus on the fight rather than how do we, improve our productivity. Thank you so much, Deborah. Boundaries become respected. That's for positive side. And this is amazing. Because now you know that this is what can get me angry. This is why we always have this clash of interest. I'll be able to set boundaries and say, you know what? This is where I believe, this is what you believe. We all have our boundaries and we understand ourselves. Thank you so much, Deborah. So to continue on the negative effect of conflict, like I said, it reduces productivity, delays decision-making process. Delays decision-making process. You know why? Because there is no synergy between this person and this person. So you guys, as you are delaying the decision-making process that could lead to effective productivity, that could lead to effective productivity. Thank you so much, man. It creates room for better understanding of each other. Thank you. That's one of the positive aspects, because when we have conflict, you'll be able to understand me better and say, oh, okay, so I understand that you disagree with this. This is not your own line of thought, right? And then I said, oh, yes, now I know. I won't try that again. See, the same logic for your day-to-day life applies for your workplace or your business. Now, this is the negative effect. So I need you to go into the chat. What are the other negative effects of conflict that you know, aside from reducing productivity and delaying decision-making process? Okay, I'm expecting the chat to be buzzing now so that I know I'm not talking to myself. And I hope that you all can still hear me. Thank you. It makes project takes longer. The project will just be dragging. oh, because this person is not, supporting this person is like, oh no, I don't think we should do it like that. Discouraging team bonding. Exactly. It discourages team bonding. It causes people working against each other. Perfect. Because, there is no synergy. So everybody is just going left, they are going right. They are now working in silos. Mismanagement of resources, great. They are now working in silos. So everybody is now, let me do my thing, you do your thing. It creates Cold War. Yes. Everybody is now doing, let me just do my thing. I don't want any problem. I don't want any this thing. Because at that point, the conflict was not resolved. You've not come to the realization of, okay, it decreases productivity, just like we said. It reduces productivity, okay? So I'm sure that by now you understand that there are positive effects to conflict and there are negative effects to conflict. Okay, so distraction from the objective. Thank you. Awkwardness in the workplace. Awkwardness in the workplace. So let's move ahead. All right. So now the next types of conflict. We have different types of conflict. The conflict that happens in the workplace, the conflicts that happen in the business, conflicts that happen in church, and different, there are different types of conflict. We've come to a place where people have definition for everything, and they tell, okay, conflict between your mother and your father, it's another type of conflict. Conflict between your boss and you is another type of conflict, and it goes like that. But now we're going to deep dive into the different types of conflict that we have. Okay? So the first one is interpersonal conflict. Interpersonal conflict. As you can see in the picture, okay, these types of conflict is between individuals due to differences in personality, style, or values. It can lead to communication breakdown, tension, and misunderstanding. It's just like husband and wife. It's like your manager and you. It's like your team member and you. It's like your business, you are a business owner and your client, a business owner and customer, a mother to a father, a child to parents, in the workplace, a boyfriend to girlfriend, husband to wife, interpersonal conflict. Because there are differences in my personality, there's difference in style, there's differences, we have different values. What I value, maybe you don't value it. And because you don't value it, you don't see it as a problem. And sometimes this can lead to communication breakdown. Because I don't value what you value, so I would rather not just bother myself with whatever it is. But then if I value what you value, then we're on the same page. But so that's how, these are the types of conflict. Tension. Will not be able to talk in the workplace. Tension. Misunderstandings. Okay? Interpersonal conflict. Now we move to task or role conflict. Task or role conflict. And I saw in the chat where most of you were talking about, the mismanagement of this, that, team not working together, team bond reduces, and this type of conflict. When you have differences in opinions, ideas, or approaches to completing a task. So let me give an example. If you're going to Ibadan from Lagos, let's use a better example. If you're going to Ijebu-Ode from Lagos, you can pass two places, two routes. You can decide to say, I want to pass Bega down to Mowe Ibafo, down to Abeokuta, right? And some people will say, you know what, I'm just going to pass Lagos Island down to Ekpe, to Ijebu-Ode. Are they going to get there at the same time? Maybe not. But they pass different routes. Are they going to get to Ijebu-Ode at the end of the day? Yes. But can you see that the approach to the task given It's different. So sometimes task or role conflict, it's also caused by approaches to completing a task. This leads to disagreement. So imagine your manager tells you, okay, I want you to get to Abeokuta by 10. And then you went ahead to go and pass Ibeju-Lekki because you think that's going to be the best route. At the end of the day, maybe you got to Abeokuta for the meeting by 11. And then your manager is asking, I passed Bega, why can't you pass Bega? And then there is conflict. But I got to Abeokuta when you wanted me to get to Abeokuta. Whether I passed through Bega or I passed through Ekwe. I hope you're getting where I'm coming from. I'm just trying to use examples that are very, very relatable so that you can relate to. Okay? This is another type of conflict that has to do with task or no. Sometimes our ideology are so different. Are you all following me, please? I want to see in the chat that you are following me and we are still together. And just like I said, if you have any questions, feel free to ask me. Feel free to drop it in the chat and ask, and I'll be willing to answer you. Okay. All right, let me see. Okay, we are together. Thank you. Thank you, Matthew. Thank you, Luakem. Okay, so we move to organizational conflict. This is the type of conflict that arises when there are conflicting goals, interest. This one is between different departments or different levels within an organization. So for example, I'm in the communications team and Amaka is in marketing team, right? We're supposed to work together to help them for their digital marketing campaign. But then we had conflict. So my team is not ready to help them and it's affecting their the turnout of sales for them. That is an organizational conflict. Or you have a business. You have issues with your client because you are not delivering on their jobs on time. And then you had a conflict with the delivery company because they are not delivering your goods to your client on time. That is an organizational conflict, right? It could be on budget allocation, it could be on marketing, it could be on communication. In the workplace, different conflicts across different teams. And the same thing applies to even if you have a business. Maybe you have to buy some raw materials for your own business, and then the person selling it is giving you, oh, you have paid, or I'm going to send it tomorrow, and it's affecting the outcome of your business. That's organizational conflict. And we are still going to go, we're still going to be learning how to deal with each of this conflict. But I also need to explain the different types of conflict that we have so that you know how best to solve or resolve them. External conflict. We have external conflict. You can see in the picture, these people are facing each other back to back, like, I'm going to beat you up today. So this type of conflict arises from, organization and external stakeholders. And so, your customer, for those that have business, or let's use an example of a company. You have a company and then maybe you provide services for maybe training thereabout. And then your customers are not happy with your training style, but they are not happy. Maybe they paid you for a particular amount to come and train. But then they didn't see you. You didn't show, you didn't tell anyone. And then there is a friction. They are calling you back to back saying that, oh, this is not done. Or you're supposed to supply some particular materials to your customer for those that have business, and then you didn't do that. This can lead to dispute over contract, pricing, other business arrangements. So for example, I'm your customer and then you treat me like this, we start having conflict. I'll stop patronizing. What does that mean? It's going to reduce your output at the end of the day. It's going to reduce how much you earn. or how much comes into the company. So there is external conflict too. Are you getting my point? There's external conflict. Like I said, we have different types of conflict. Okay, so I'm just going to stop here before I move to strategies for managing. So from everything I've explained, I want you guys to put it in the chat, the different types of conflict that we have. The different types of conflict that we have. I'll be waiting in the chat. I'm waiting. I'm expecting that the chat is buzzing now. Okay. Thank you so much, Amaka. Emmanuel, external, organizational, internal, organizational, external, task and role, interpersonal, organizational, external conflict. Great. I'm expecting Oluwakemi, I'm expecting your response. Francis, I'm expecting your response. Chidi Ebere, I'm expecting your response. Okay, thank you, thank you. Okay, Matthew, I've seen your response. Friday, thank you. All right, Oluwakemi, yes, I can see your response now. Okay, so I believe you all are following me. That's amazing. So let's move to strategies for managing conflict in the workplace. Strategies for managing conflict in the workplace, okay? The first one is active listening. You need to learn how to be a listener. When you learn how to be a listener, it's much more easier because if you're not careful, everybody wants to speak their mind. Let me speak my mind, let me speak my mind. But nobody wants to listen. Okay? Thank you, Mercy. Nobody wants to listen. They said active listening. It has skills and needs to be cultivated. It is important to listen to both sides of the conflict and understand their perspectives. This will help you identify the root cause of the conflict and find a solution that works for everyone. Active listening as a manager, as a business owner, as a team member, as whatever your position is in your business, in the organization, in the company, you have to cultivate active listening. Understand the different sides of the conflict. Understand their perspectives, the perspective they're coming from. Because this will help you identify the exact problem that is happening. But then you are not listening. Let me speak my mind. Let me speak. This one you say, let me speak my mind. This one you say, let me speak. Nobody wants to listen. And then the conflict resolution process is going to now take so long. But if you want to solve a conflict, the first thing is just actively listen. What are you saying, team A? Or if it is between you and someone, okay, what are you trying to say? Let me listen to you. And then when you listen to understand, that is why it's called active listening. When you listen to understand, the person gets, you now get like, oh, okay, so this is what you're trying to tell me. Oh, now I understand. Oh, apologies. Oh, now I understand where you are coming from. Oh, now I get a better understanding of what you are saying. Oh, now, okay, yes, I think that this is how it should be. Am I communicating, guys? Active listening. Encourage open communication. You can see the diagram. Encourage open communication between the parties involved in the conflict. This will help each person express their feelings and concerns in a productive manner and prevent misunderstanding. Encourage open communication. Another thing that from working in the workplace like myself and also having team members that I work with is that you need to encourage open communication. Tola came to tell me about Bosse. Like, do you know that Bosse did not go to office yesterday? Do you know that? Encourage open communication. Okay, I heard that was this the problem? Can you speak to her about it? Instead of gossiping about it, speak to her about it. Have a conversation with her. Let her know that what she's doing is not right. Rather than say, oh, I will not, let me not say anything, no. You know that. And then you're not encouraging open communication between the parties. People cannot express their feeling. They are just bottling it in. And the truth is something that you bottle in, the day the thing will explode, it will explode and affect every person. So encourage open communication. The third thing is negotiate. You need to find a common ground. Look for areas of agreement between the parties that are involved in the conflict. Find a common ground that can help them focus on the things that they agree on and work together to find a solution. Negotiate. So for example, you're having issues with your client or your customer. You guys need to find a common ground. You negotiate. Okay, ma. So are you saying that there's a delay in your delivery? So how can we help you? What can you do to also help us? Maybe where they are delivering it to is too far. Can we find a common ground? Can we please meet in the middle? It's the same way in the workplace too. You are having, no conflict with your manager or any member of your team, and then you're asking them, how can we negotiate? How can I meet you at the middle? Or maybe you need your team member to submit quarterly report and they are yet to do that. So you need to find a common ground and say, okay, do you need me to give you extra days to be able to put together the report? Or how else do you think I can support you in this? Now, when you do that, you are not only helping them, you're also encouraging them to be open to conversations, open to good communication. This will not only improve their communication skills, but also improve their productivity at work in your business. Okay, the next one is be ready to brainstorm solutions. Encourage the parties involved, right? To brainstorm solutions together. So there is a conflict around, oh, you didn't finish this task. This is not how this task needs to be completed. Brainstorm. What solutions are you bringing on board? And then the other team will say, okay, this is the solution I'm bringing on board. This will help every one of them to feel involved in the resolution process, right? It's going to help them feel involved in the resolution process and increase likelihood of finding a solution that works for everyone. Imagine everyone is, everyone partakes, that's the word, partakes in the process. Everyone partakes in finding solution to the conflict. It will increase their problem-solving skills. To say, oh, even when they move from that department to another department, they move from that organization to another organization, there is just this belief that, oh, I remember the last time when we had a bit of conflict in my department, I was able to come up with a solution. We were able to come up with it, and then it's another skills that have been added to them. Okay, be ready to brainstorm solutions. Implement a solution. Once a solution has been agreed upon, it is important to implement it as soon as possible. This will help prevent the conflict from escalating and ensure that everyone is on the same page. You have brainstormed solutions. You don't just leave it there at brainstorming. You implement the solution. Oh, so after brainstorming, like, oh, so we can do this project like this. You are bringing another idea for us to do this project. Well, that's fine. How can we implement the solution so that everyone across all teams can be fully aware that now this is the solution we are going to be implementing going forward to solve some of the conflicts or some of the problems we've encountered. Okay. Then after the solution, you need to follow up. You need to follow up. The solution, you brainstorm on the solution, you implement the solution. You need to follow up. Ensure that everyone is satisfied with the outcome, because that's another phase. Some people might not be satisfied. Just say, "Yeah, it's because it's my manager. Let me just take it like that." Oh, it's because some customers are always right. Let me just accept it like that. You need to follow up. Ensure that everyone is satisfied. They are satisfied with the outcome, because this will prevent future conflicts, and it will ensure a positive and a productive workplace. When you follow up after resolving a conflict, or you follow it up, when you follow it up, then it will help prevent further conflict, because they know that after this conflict, or my manager follow up and said, okay, have you implemented the solution? We brainstormed together. What are your thoughts on it? Are you having any doubts about it? Okay. All right. I hope you all can still hear me. Please, if you can hear me, let me know.
Yes, we can hear you, Dr. Dane. We can totally hear you.
Okay, awesome. So, okay, because I
can hear you.
Okay, thank you. I saw that what you said, you can only see the visuals. All right, awesome. And I hope you guys are following. So in summary, effective conflict management, right, requires open communication, active listening, and a willingness to find a solution that works for everyone involved. A willingness that, to find a solution. You're willing to find a solution. You're willing to, actively listen. You're willing to, be open to good communication, right? To understand why this conflict arises in the first place. What can we do to solve it? Your willingness to find a solution that works, Please, can that person mute his mic? Sylvia, please, can you mute the mic for the person? Okay. Please, can you mute that person's mic? Okay. All right. So by following these strategies, you can manage conflict in the workplace and promote a positive and productive business environment. If you're able to follow all the strategies that we've been talking about since morning, you'll be able to manage conflict in the workplace. You'll be able to promote positive and productive business environments, not for only you, but everybody working together with you. And also in the workplace. Okay, okay. All right, Emmanuel, I've gone back to the slide before. Let me know when I need to move to the next one. Okay, thank you. Like I was saying, by following these strategies, you'll be able to manage conflict in the workplace and promote positive and productive business environment. Okay, so now is the time for us to ask questions. Now is the time for us to ask questions.
Okay, so Matthew has his hand raised. Matthew, you can come off mute to share your question.
Okay, thank you. Please, in a workplace, how do you resolve the conflict between you and maybe your boss or your superior in office setting? What is the best way to go about any conflict or perceived issue between your boss or between you and somebody ahead of you in office?
Okay. All right. So I'm just going to go back to the slides. The first, strategies for managing conflicts in the workplace. So I'm going to paint a scenario using all the strategies that I've explained earlier, right? So you are having a conflict with your manager in the office. The first thing is to identify what caused the conflict. What caused the conflict? So I don't know the exact thing that happened, but what caused the conflict, right? Now, when you have conflict like that, and then you've identified what caused the conflict, is to sit down and have a conversation with your manager. And then using all the strategies that we have explained. You might say that, oh, you are right. Your manager is wrong. Your manager does not listen. But have you had sit down to actively listen to what your manager is saying? So maybe your manager asks you to deliver on some, maybe you have some deliverables you have to, carry out, but then you are not doing it right. But because you are not actively listening to him, you just, what is he saying? Does he know more than me? Because sometimes you also need to think inwards. You're saying that I have more qualification than my manager. And then you are not even listening to your manager. Okay? And then open communication. For example, maybe your manager is not the type that will openly have communication with you. Take the first step. Good afternoon, sir. Good morning, ma. I noticed that I've just noticed this friction between us. I just wanted to ask, is it because of the tasks you gave me? Are there some things you think you were, were looking forward for me to do and I've not been able to achieve that? Can you please state it so that I can get on it and ensure that I deliver it on time? You negotiate. And then the person said, nothing, please, I really appreciate if you can tell me what the problem is. And then when they tell you, you negotiate, okay, I'm going to get on this. But if I get on this, will you able to forgive me for this? Will you able to support me in this? Will you able to do that? Will you able? I don't know, maybe you are getting my point. You negotiate. You negotiate it. You brainstorm the solution. After negotiating, it will not be the one to say, oh, I think we should do it like this. Oh, I think we should do it like this. You implement the solution. And then you follow it. Ensure that you yourself, you are not the problem. Ensure that you are not the one even giving your manager the problem. I don't know, maybe I've been able to answer your question, Matthew.
Okay, Matthew, you can come off mute to say if the answer Ms. Bossede gave was clarifying for you. Okay, he said yes. Okay, so do we have any other questions you would like to ask about conflict management?
Are there any other questions? Please feel free to ask.
Okay, yes, Friday has a question. So he said, is there a possible way? Is there a possible way for one to avoid conflict in totality?
Okay. Like I said, there's no possible way to avoid conflict. If you want to avoid conflict, you would still meet the conflict in front. So I think conflict is just part of life. So that you'll be able, just like somebody said, you'll be able to set boundaries, you'll be able to understand your limits, you'll be able to understand what you can take and what you cannot take. So let me break it down to something relatable. Husband and wife, or boyfriend and girlfriend, no matter how they love each other, you see that conflict that happens, it's so that I can get to know you better. So it's like you're in a relationship and you're saying conflict will not happen because you love the person. Not to now talk of the workplace, you don't love them. You are there to work and get your pay for your business. You like your customers, but you don't love. It's not like you have a love relationship with them, right? You like them because you provide a service, and then they pay for the service, and you reach out to them, and that is it. If you can have conflict between somebody you claim to love, right, it's to tell you that conflict is inevitable because it helps us, and that's why I had to break it down to positive and negative. It helps us to know our boundaries. It helps us to know what Friday can take, what he or she cannot take. It helps me to know what Bose can take, what Bose cannot take. It helps me to understand my customers base better. It helps me to understand the people I work with better. I know that, oh, this person, she has her boundaries. This person does not like people borrowing her laptop in the workplace. Or this person does not like people, picking her phone. Or this person, this is the way she likes to approach a project. Or this is the way Bose likes to approach a project. So you need conflict to be able to diversify, to be able to decipher, that's the word, which is which. And then you'll be able to set that boundaries. You'll be able to understand, okay, I need to do more research because I think I'm not grounded in this, because I was just, arguing blameless, blindly. I hope that answers your question, Friday. I'm expecting more questions.
Okay, so Emmanuel has a comment in the chat box. So he said, apologies for the background noise. So the question he asked is, keeping quiet while someone else is talking, and they are asking you to speak in a conflict. Is that a way to effectively manage conflict?
Please, can you read that again?
Okay, so Emmanuel asked, keeping quiet while someone else is talking, and they are telling you to speak in a conflict. Is that a way to manage the conflict? Is that an effective way of managing the conflict?
They are turning you to speak. Sorry, I just wanted to see that. Keeping quiet while someone else is talking, and they are telling you to speak in a conflict. Is that a way of making? We said just now that open communication. We just said it just now, open communication. Okay? So there's a conflict and then we are having a conversation. Now, it's different from argument. In a meeting, maybe in the workplace, there is a project that you expected to get on, but there has been a bit of conflict. And then they're talking, okay, so this is what we have realized. That is the problem. You're not fighting them. So you need to understand your own. So you're not fighting them. At that point, you guys are having a civil conversation. And then when they are done, that's why I say actively listen. Then you come into the conversation, okay, now I understand you. You are not listening to react. You are listening to understand and respond adequately. So you now said, okay, now I get where you're coming from. But this is what we thought, and this is what we've been able to achieve, and this is what we've been able to do. And then when you do that, there's open communication, and then you can go ahead and negotiate and say, okay, going forward, we will not do a project that would, filter into your work. Or if it's your customer, we'll ensure that we will be able to satisfy you better. I don't know if I've been able to answer that question. Just going to read the one here. What happens when the party involved in the conflict makes it clear they are not interested in sitting down or having any type of conversation with the other party? They have been getting their job done and it's not affecting effectively. What does one do in such situation? Okay, so in this situation, the person involved said it's not affecting its effectiveness. But now the question to you is this affecting your own effectiveness? Is this affecting your own effect? If it is affecting your own effectiveness, you find a way to, simplify the conversation to the person. You don't have to tell the person, oh, we have a conflict, we have to sit down and talk about it. There are other ways to do it. Maybe when you guys go for lunch, you might just sit with the person and say, oh, can I sit with you? And then you have conversation. So let you two, what type of person are you? Are you the type that when you have conflict, you are shouting at the top of your voice, you are raising your voice? Nobody wants to sit with you to have a conversation. That's the truth. Nobody wants to sit with you to have a conversation with somebody that will shout at me, you know? So what type of person are you? How do you also control yourself in conflicts? Okay? So it doesn't have to be sit down, I want to have a conversation with you. It should be mutual agreement. It does not necessarily have to be, oh, you have to sit down. It might be when the person has go for lunch, or the person is in a good mood, and you know that this is affecting your effect. You want to have a conversation with the person. Then, is it better to avoid the person if he or she still holds stuff against you despite attempting to resolve the conflict? I don't think avoiding is the right word here. So what are the steps you have taken to resolve the conflict? What if the steps you're taking is not even the right step? Okay. So based on everything that we have thought today, you think about it. What can I do better? Let me use this, steps or these strategies that we shared today to now go ahead and review, how I've been resolving conflict so that I can be better in resolving this conflict. I hope you guys are getting me. But I don't think it's better to avoid, because at some point or the other, you guys are going to confront each other and it's going to blow up. So it's better to find a way with all the strategies we've shared today to talk about it and resolve it amicably. Okay, are there any other questions?
Okay, so I think there are no other questions. So I think what we now do is to give our generous comments about what we learned from this wonderful session. Thank you so much, Ms. Abosede, for this insightful session. It was wonderful having you here. Honestly, I learned a lot from this session about conflict. And this is coming from someone who always avoid conflicts, piece of work, my personal life, everywhere I go, right? But you, just like you said, you cannot always avoid conflicts, but it's always going to meet you in front, right? And one of the things I learned from today's session is difference in opinion, ideas, and approach to complete a task is fine. But as long as the end goal is to accomplish that task and achieve the set objective of your business, your personal life, and it's fine, right? But as far as you know how to effectively manage the conflicts in order to avoid it, expanding or being something that's blown out of proportion, right? So that is one of my major highlights I learned from this session. So it would be lovely to have two of our alumni share their insights from today's session. Come off mute to share. It would be lovely to hear Emmanuel and Amaka Betchu, Nathaniel's voice. Come off mute to share what you've learned from this wonderful session. Okay, Emmanuel, if you're speaking, we cannot hear you clearly. Am I the only one that cannot hear Emmanuel? Okay, so Emmanuel said he will chat, write it in the chat box. Okay, Betchu, if you can come off mute to share your insights. Frances, Grace, Happiness, Matthew, Messi, Matthias, Oluwakemi, and Sue. It'd be lovely to hear one of you come off mute to share your insights about this wonderful session. Just a way to say thank you to Ms. Abosede for. Okay, Amaka, go on, please.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Okay. For me, I think one of the tools I've been able to use over time that has helped me in managing conflict is um, an open communication. I usually tell people when things happen, invite both parties, get them involved. Don't listen to one person and you know have a conclusion from everything that has happened. Because people tend to speak when things happen, people tend to speak in their favor, like they wouldn't tell you where they missed it, where they messed up or how they messed up. They want to talk about the other party. So when you listen to both parties, you can strike a balance. You can be able to manage or resolve that. And again, she talked about active listening. You need to listen to both sides. Listen, not in favor of maybe probably one of the parties is your person or your friend, and you tend to want to give a listening ear to that your friend and ignore the other person to affect, you in resolving conflict. So when we listen to people, active listening is not just listening to what they're saying. You listen because from their hearts, from their heart, they're either saying the truth or they are lying. So when we weigh both sides after listening to them, we can be able to strike a balance and be able to understand the best way to resolve that conflict. And also, she said we should brainstorm solutions. We should think about possible ways, to be able to resolve conflicts. We should not just think, oh, there's this way I'm used to it. There was a conflict I resolved the other day, and this was how I went about it, and just bump into it and say, this solution will work for this. No, I believe every conflict has different or diverse way of handling it. So also she talked about when she was saying your manager, because your manager was able to effectively resolve that conflict, you want to, anytime a conflict come up, you trust your manager to be able to, resolve that conflict. That's because the manager knows how to resolve a conflict. So we have learned today on how to resolve the conflict. So I believe if we can implement these things that we have learned today, it will go a long way in helping us because they are relative. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Amaka. It was very lovely hearing you talk about your own real life scenario where you actually faced conflict and you resolved it using your initiative, right? That's one thing some of us are still trying to practice, right? So Emmanuel has dropped in the chat box that conflict is a must. How you manage it is what matters. You should effectively put strategies in resolving conflicts. Also be empathetic while resolving conflicts. Don't be biased. That's lovely. I mean, you don't want to resolve a conflict just because of, oh, this is my best friend, and then you will take your best friend's side without actually trying to make sure you resolve the conflict without being biased, right? So thank you so much, Emmanuel and Amaka, for sharing your insights. Thank you, Abosede, for a wonderful session, for facilitating. We really appreciate. So we've come to the end of today's session, right? And hopefully you get to join our next session coming next month. But thank you all for joining, for your input. I realized that everyone was actively following Ms. Abosede in this session. Thank you. Thank you so much. All right, so we've come to the end. Thank you. And if feedback form will be sent for us to fill concerning this workshop. Matthew is saying thank you. Thank you for joining us for this session. Thank you. We really appreciate it. Okay, Amaka is saying thank you, Ms. Abosede. Thank you, Wayne. Thank you, Amaka, for joining this session. Thank you all for joining and participating.
Thank you and enjoy the rest of your day.
Okay, Emmanuel is saying, can you get the slide? Okay, so the slide cannot be sent, but the video will be posted in the Telegram group for everyone to see. And also your airtime will be sent, true. Please kindly fill the feedback form before you leave the session to get your airtime and to share your feedback also. Well, thank you all for this session, for joining and participating. Thank you, thank you. So you can all log off now. So please fill the form before you leave so as to get your airtime.